morning, folks. We're traveling along here, about 10 miles northeast of White Bear Lake on my trip, heading to Upper Michigan, Newberry for the evening. We'll overnight there. I believe the distance is about 4:35 or something like that. I can't remember exactly the distance, but it's about a 10-hour drive with a stop for lunch. Weather on this end is nice and sunny this morning. Beautiful morning. Up there it's going to be rain by the time I get there, so not so good. It's a beautiful day, at least for the part of the trip. I got off at about 15 minutes earlier at 7:45 than I planned. Got up really early. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I ended up getting an early start on things this morning, which was a good thing, actually. All right, we're stopped at a bridge here right now, waiting to get across, doing evidently rebuilding one side here at a time. Here we go. We're about the middle of Wisconsin, heading towards Rhinelander in a few miles, 35 miles actually, and I'm planning to stop there for lunch. Pretty nice forest in this area. I think it's part of the Temagami National Forest. There it says Rhinelander is 32 miles. So we'll stop for lunch there and take a break. I'm ready for it. It's 11:25, so we'll be there just after noon. So far everything's been going fine. The weather's holding off. Still nice and for the most part sunny. A few clouds in the sky. So my solar is probably doing just fine. Been listening to an audio book, one by William Kent Kruger, political Secret Service, a little bit different than the usual for Kent Kruger. The Corcoran or O'Connor series is the one I usually like to read, but and I thought this was one of that series, but it's not. Not real happy with this camera mount for the Pocket 2. I don't have quite enough clearance between the dash and the windshield, so I have to have it kind of at an angle. It works, but I'm going to have to come up with something better. Unfortunately, the Pocket 2 does not track if it's upside down. It's kind of nice when it's right side up, because I flip the camera around and it'll automatically center on my face. It won't do that when it's upside down. I tried to mount it on with a suction cup. That mount worked a lot better, but unfortunately it wouldn't track my face. So then it becomes a problem with keeping it centered all the time. And when you're driving down the road by yourself, that's not a very smart thing to do. As it is, I'm messing with my settings a little bit anyway, but that's a little bit over the top, so I try not to do that. And I think there's got to be a way I can get the camera mounted, but I just got to figure out a way to attach it to the dash. Could be that just a little tripod. It's on actually a mini tripod, and I've got it taped down with some duct tape, but I'm not happy with that whole arrangement. So I got to do some work on it. I'm using the remote mic. I'm hoping that that's working better than the regular mic. I had too much background noise from coming through the dash, I think. So it's an ongoing project, trying to figure out cameras, sound, and how to do that when you're driving down the road. But this is some of the countryside here. It's a nice drive today. Really grateful that the sun is out. Makes it real pleasant, and I hope it stays out there, although there's a lot of cloud cover, as you can see out ahead of me there. And the forecast did say rain as I get up closer to the Upper Peninsula and probably Green Bay. Anyway, I'm going to stop for lunch at Rhinelander for a few minutes and take a break. All right, folks, I didn't stop for lunch yet. I was going to stop at Rhinelander, but unfortunately that's off the beaten track, and I was surprised about that. I figured there'd be some eating places right here on Highway 8, but there was not. So we continue on. I'm hoping that I'll come across something out here. It's a little bit sketchy in terms of both gas and restaurants. And finally I'm seeing a little bit of color change here, but there hasn't been that much color coming across the middle of the state. So we'll see what there is. forgot to put the mic on my lapel. Try that. That'd probably be a little better. Anyway, it's clouding over, which was expected, but no rain yet. I may end up having to wait. I hope I can get into Escanaba, the fuel that I have, see what I've got for range. I got 118 miles to empty. Should be enough. I've got about a quarter of a tank, a little more, so I should be able to get into Escanaba. But if I do find fuel, I may stop somewhere sooner than that. Little sun behind me, but to the east, it's pretty cloudy. It's not very populated. Rhinelander was probably the largest town coming across the middle of the state, other than maybe Ladysmith. But Rhinelander has a pretty good airport. Mesaba Airlines used to run into. So I was real surprised that Highway 8 kind of bypassed the town, because this is a pretty old U.S. highway. So we'll proceed on. I will check back with you when I actually do stop, but right now it might be another half an hour, so it's already 12:30. I was hoping to be at a lunch table right now, but it's going to have to wait. I'm grateful that there's no rain yet. Kind of a valley out there ahead of us. International Raceway. Wow. Didn't know they had a raceway here, but I don't see any restaurants, not a place, not even any fuel, so I don't know. Maybe there's something up over the hill here. I see some lights. If I can find something here, I would kind of like to stop, get something to eat. But you'd think if they have a raceway that they'd have a place to eat. Now there's a big school, so maybe this is a bigger town than they make it out to be. I see fuel down there, so maybe I'll stop and get gas anyway. But I'm really surprised that there's no restaurants. But who knows, maybe there is down here. Well, there's no place for me to even pull in there. That's a small gas stop. That's too tight for me to even get into.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Wisconsin 32 North, Wisconsin 55 North.
Well, we're not going to do that. Okay, here's a drive-in, but I don't see any lights on. Well, there is a little bit of a town here, so maybe I can find a place to eat. Well, I'm going to get some fuel here, so. Alright folks, I just came out of Escanaba and I'm going up along the edge of the lake here, part of Green Bay. Got about 80 miles or so before we turn up to Newberry. We're about 100, less than 110 miles to go for today. As you can see, it's cloudy now. It was raining off and on a while back, but now it's stopped raining. If I have to put the chimney up when I get there, it'd be nice if it's not raining. A long day, that's for sure. I'm getting a little worn out. Stopped for lunch in a town called, I think it's Camden, larger town than I was expecting there, and they did have a good place to stop for fuel, and the food actually wasn't too bad. It was kind of a small country cafe, a little dirty and flies around, but food was okay. Anxious to get the day over with. It gets to be a little long on a trip like this. I had a real short night last night. It was only about, I think I got up or started waking up about 2:30 and I couldn't get back to sleep, so it was kind of fruitless. I laid there for another hour and a half, but I don't think I ever really went to sleep. Got up at just around 4, I think. So I had a little early start on the day. Making progress. The highways are dry. Traffic's a little heavy right now because I think people are getting out of work. Well, I'll check back in a little bit later. sprinkling on and off on this stretch of road along Green Bay. Got about 30 miles before I make the left turn here. So we're getting closer. Another 45 minutes at least. Some of Green Bay. Nice little park right there. Some wave action. Large sandwich for lunch. It's held out pretty good here. Actually about 5:40 Eastern Daylight Time. A little under an hour I'm hoping to get to where I'm heading. Nice country, kind of a cloudy, dreary day, but it's still a nice area. Nice beaches along in here.